Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
people have environmental concern for the things they're consuming.
Yeah.
The things that you put in your mouth have an environmental impact. Certainly, meat has an environmental impact. That cow drank a lot of water and had to be washed down and ate a lot of corn to be as big as it was before it became hamburgers. Just like everything else in the food chain, right? So, the people that have concern for the things that they consume, like produce and meats and other things, are maybe the same kind of people that have concern for how much impact they have when they use transportation. A lot of people will not fly in an airplane because they don't like how much emissions airplanes produce. So we do think that there's a considerable amount of people, and a lot of them live in the Smile States in California, in Texas, and New York, and the coastal regions. But those people that don't need all the utility that someone might need if they have 3 kids that they have to take everywhere every day, they could find a lot of utility in an Aptera. You can take one passenger. It's got 25 cubic feet of storage. It's got 60% more storage than an Accord. It's got 30% more storage than a Prius. It's got a lot of utility built in it. You can put 2 7-foot surfboards in the back and hit the coast. You can put 2 snowboards and a bunch of snowboarding gear and head up to the mountains. It's got all-wheel drive. There's lots of things that you can do in a 2-passenger vehicle like this.
So yeah, with that in mind, I know when I had my Prius, and I have another Prius, people always asked about, well, what if you need to haul things? What if you have to do this? What if you have to do this? And I always remind them that the average work year is 250 days. For 250 out of the 365 days, it's me in a car that seats 5, driving alone, 18 to 24 miles each way. And once or twice, I will need to haul something. And usually what I do is I ask a friend with a truck and I buy him a 6-pack and I borrow his truck for a weekend. I let him buy the gas for a whole year and then I borrow his truck for the weekend.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like, you're right. The Aptera is a good 1 or 2 passenger regular driver. And then, if you have to take the family on something, you have another car that has that much potential. Or as we've mentioned many times, you could go to Enterprise and rent a car for a weekend or something that might meet whatever needs you might have.
Let them take the depreciation taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to any Home Depot and rent a truck for the afternoon. Yep. And leave your electric car at Home Depot and go do what you need to do and bring the truck right back and give it to Home Depot and you're done. There's lots of utility options, but we anticipate that the majority of people that buy an Aptera, it will be their second car. It will be for someone who drives to work, by themselves every day and really likes the option of having a vehicle like this. You can still use it on the weekends, but you're not going to put 3 kids in the back. I've got 2 little ones, and that's a concern. My wife's got a 4Runner. I've got a Model S. We have plenty of utility in those 2 vehicles. But if I was commuting 50 miles a day, I would be very concerned about how much I was impacting the environment and how much I was using on a daily basis.
I was just going to say, are you expecting the car to be eligible for the HOV stickers in California?
Technically, this is a motorcycle, so yeah, you would anywhere where motorcycles get HOV status, this vehicle would be able to get that sticker. And so we had that sticker.
Wouldn't want to do lane splitting though in it.
No.
You just want to bulldoze some people out of the way. That's always
that's a big negative on the lane splitting.
A misconception about Aptera is that it's small. It is not small. It's, as I said, it's got 25 cubic feet of storage in the rear, and it is not 2 people slammed right next to each other in the driver and passenger seat. It's a spacious, rather sizable vehicle.
Could you repeat those dimensions again? You had a bandwidth hiccup there.
It's as long as a Prius and as wide as a Tesla Model S.
Okay, so it's still as big as it used to be.
Yes.
And then recently, people have brought up about the engine nacelles, the wheel pods. Well, how do they fare now versus then? In a say, some jerk driver just kind of doesn't realize how wide the vehicle is and cuts
Wheel
too close.
covers or the in-wheel motor?
The actual
Um,
support, the actual
Yeah.
The front
suspension,
wheels?
yeah, the front wheels, the whole assembly. Like
Yeah,
if
so
somebody
the-
cuts you off and clips you.
Yeah, it's an interesting design element, and it's an aerodynamic element that is kind of a necessity for a very aerodynamic vehicle. The one thing that we can't get around aerodynamically is that the wheels have to touch the ground. We
Right.
haven't
Oh,
we haven't
dang it.
created levitation technology yet. So the dirtiest aerodynamics are where the wheel touches the ground, because we can't avoid it. It's a big flat rubber thing that touches the ground, and it just has dirty air. So, what the Aptera does well is we take that dirty air and we move it outside the body. So dirty air over here doesn't interact with the body in the middle. And that's why the wheels are outboard. Many people will never consider buying an Aptera because it has outboard wheels. But aerodynamically, it's a necessity to have as low a drag as we have. You'll never see a vehicle with inboard wheels that have coefficients of drag like ours do.
So then, are you saying, is this a front wheel or rear wheel drive?
This vehicle is all-wheel drive,
Okay.
but the first vehicles were front-wheel drive. And front wheels is where you get all your power and traction, because that's where the weight is biased to. But this new vehicle, it's great with the in-wheel motors because we can torque vector between the three different wheels. So one, we can put the power where it's needed. Two, you can assist in steering. So, like tank steering, you speed up one side and slow down the other, you turn the vehicle. That's something that we can do with our vectorized torque controls. It also allows us to keep each wheel motor in the optimal efficiency range, the optimal torque and efficiency range that it needs to be in at any time. So at highway speeds, you may not need to run all three motors. You may need one. Given condition, we're optimizing for efficiency, not just performance. But you can tell where the wheel is in those motors within, like a 64th of a revolution. So you can turn back on the power anytime you want. So anytime you need it. So you can completely cut out a wheel and a split second later turn it back on and be full power if you need it. So it's a very cool system to be all-wheel drive. And we do think that a lot of automakers over the next 5 years will switch over to in-wheel motors because it does so many things for performance, but more importantly, it makes the vehicle more easily manufactured. You get rid of everything that you have to build in to get power to the wheel. So things like transaxles and axles and all the weight that comes along with those are gone if you put the motor in the wheel, which we're doing.